This is Amrit again from Amzom Sports, and we've just finished watching the Liverpool versus Arsenal match. I watched it as not totally impartial fan. Being a United fan, I hate Liverpool. So just for this, it's not like I like Arsenal either, but out of the two, absolutely, we'll take Arsenal over Liverpool any day of the week. So I was sat there hoping, wishing for Arsenal to win, and instead, what did we see? What did I see? It was an Arsenal team full of potential, dominating the ball, dominating the match, in my opinion. And yet, or should I say dominating, possession away at Anfield, and yet not being hungry enough to score goals. They took the ball, went up to the Arsenal half and started passing it, not showing that cutting edge. Did they give everything to win the match? I don't think so. So if I was an Arsenal fan, I'd be pretty disgusted, pretty annoyed at this performance. They hung out for a draw. I think they backed themselves to keep a clean sheet away at Anfield, and to be fair, they should have, but for an extraordinary free kick by Szoboszlai, they probably would have. Not much in it at all, but I do question Arteta, and I do question the mentality of this Arsenal team. They have not won at Anfield for years, probably for a decade. I can't remember the last time they went to Anfield and won. And that's when they've been better than Liverpool at times as well. So it's not a venue where anyone gets much luck. I mean, I speak as a United fan. I mean, it's always a venue, an arena, a stadium, that you've got to take your chances when you get it, and you're not always going to get those chances in a very hostile environment. But what did Arsenal do? They tried to manage the game for a 0-0 draw, and around 82, 83 minutes, free kick, 32 something yards out. So Szoboszlai steps up, brilliant free kick off the bar and in, and that's it. Curtains. Liverpool take 9 points out of 9 and are in pole position for yet another Premier League title. Bit too early, I'll get it. Too early to be calling Liverpool Premier League winners, but Man City have lost 2 games now. Arsenal have already lost their game. We've seen Spurs drop points. Man United have had a horrendous start. Not calling us contenders by any stretch of the imagination, but still, all of the top teams have dropped points. Newcastle, nine points out of 9, looking good, and now it's down to the rest of us. I believe we've got Man City when we return from the break. We've then got Liverpool soon after. Amarim, if your job wasn't already, or if you weren't already insecure about your job before the window, then you've got it all coming for you right after it. And I really hope we rise to it. Now, today, Sunday, 31st of August. Tomorrow's the first one day. I don't know if it's even 24 hours. What's the time? I think less than 24 hours before the transfer window shuts. I believe it shuts at 7 o'clock, 6 or 7 o'clock, something like that tomorrow. So with less than 24 hours to go in the transfer window, what do we have? From a United perspective, we were crying out for at least a goalkeeper. I say at least, because if it was down to me, and I don't even think it's unrealistic, but if it was down to me, I think we should do everything to change both keepers. But I don't think we will do that. So we are being linked with 2 goalkeepers, Emiliano Martinez from Aston Villa, who ironically shares the same birthday as myself on Tuesday. I believe does he turn 32 on Tuesday? Perhaps turns 33 on Tuesday. So there's a keeper who turns 33 on Tuesday, who we're linked with, and the other keeper, Lemans, Sana Lemans, we're also being linked with, and he turns 23, or he's 23, so 10 years his junior. I personally would go for both if possible, get an experienced keeper to replace Onana and to be, in goal for us for the next at least 3 to 4 years, perhaps. Even if we get 2 years, I'm happy. If we sign a 4-year deal, we get 2 really good years, third and fourth year as a sub, as a second keeper, I'm happy. I think that would be money well spent. But then Sana Lemans comes in and can provide not just really good pressure as a number 2, but also can learn from one of the best keepers in the world. Personally, if I had to choose one, I'd still say I'd love to have gone for Donnarumma. He's one of my favorite goalkeepers. I believe he's literally the number 1 best goalkeeper in the world. Who's linked with him? Of course, Man City, our noisy neighbours. United are, for some reason, not in for him anymore. I believe Man City will go get him. He's only 26 years of age. I think if United were to go all out, that's who we should have got. But anyway, I believe we'll be ending up with at least Martinez. Sana Lemans might end up going to replace Martinez at Aston Villa. That would be a bit of an irony if Martinez comes, and we all know Martinez, as good as keeper as he is, he's not the most reliable. He has a mistake in him, and if he comes in and he's cost us points with a couple of blunders, and then we look over to Villa and Lemans is having a blinding season, I think United fans will be kicking themselves. But let's look at the positives. Emi Martinez, World Cup winner. We all know the save that he makes against France to save Argentina and keep them in the game, and then he goes on to produce more heroics during the penalty shootout. So he's got all the potential. He's got a mistake in him for sure. I think he's one of those late bloomers. So I'm hoping, the best and the more consistent version of him is yet to come. Either way, we need to rectify this goalkeeper situation that we have. A quick word on the midfielder. Are United in for Baleba? Are we going to get any midfielder? I don't think so. I think we've left it really late. Baleba, I think, yes, United did genuinely inquire about his services, but don't think, I don't think what Brighton are asking is realistic, even though great result for Brighton today against Man City. I don't think what Brighton are asking for Baleba is really realistic, and Man United can certainly not be paying those prices, so can't see that happening. I would love to get Baleba. I think he's a talented young player, young midfielder. Caicedo, but in opinion better than Caicedo. Can't see him playing in United colours this season, but one to watch. So yeah, I think that's it really for transfers. Other clubs, Spurs have done really well getting Xavi Simons. They ended up losing at the weekend. We've seen Chelsea get Garnacho. Again, just a quick word on Garnacho. I mean, what's this guy playing at? I don't even think it's been announced yet if the transfer's gone through, and he was there at Chelsea. in the grounds. But anyway, good riddance for us. He really wanted and wanted to go to Chelsea, wanted to play in London. Good luck, good riddance from our perspective. I think he's one of those players who we can't be having in our setup. Certainly from an Amorim perspective. Did we get value on Garnacho? Well, look, he's a product of the academy. He is probably the most expensive player that we've ever had for an academy player sale. So in that perspective, yes. Having said that, if we're buying Cunha at 50 odd million, we're buying Embuemo, or 60 million should I say, if we're buying Embuemo technically at 64, 65 million, then I think, you know, Garnacho should at least be 50. United got 40 plus a 10% sell-on clause. It's okay. It's okay. I think United overall, we don't do great in transfers because we just can't keep our traps shut. We always have to announce any rift in that dressing room always gets published. And I think the whole world knows that Man United was never going to play Garnacho. Garnacho was not going to get any game time. Something which isn't quite as obvious for Sancho. Sancho's never worked with Ruben Amorim. They've never had a clash. Yes, Sancho is another rat who Man United fans just don't like and would love to see the back of him. But he hasn't had a personal conflict or any issues with Amorim. So I can see Sancho playing under Ruben Amorim, and then let's see how he gets on. But that's not the case for Garnacho. He had to leave. And everyone's been talking about that famous picture of the three young players on which Man United were to rely on moving forwards. A picture of Garnacho, Højlund and Kobbie Mainoo on the boards at Old Trafford, and Garnacho's absolutely gone. Or Højlund's potentially on his way to Napoli. I've seen some rumours, and again, I don't present much regarding transfers, so I literally get the news when you guys do. But I've seen some clips of him in a Napoli shirt. At a particular point, he was really good at Atalanta. He was really good in the Serie A, and I think that's where he'll probably thrive again. But I say really good. I mean, he scored like 9 goals before he came to Man United. So was he perfect? No. Is he a good player? Absolutely. And I, for one, wouldn't mind seeing him still at Man United. I think we've got space for an additional striker. Well, now that we don't have Carling Cup, we can't use him as much. But I think he's got a good attitude. He wants to stay at Man United. Most players do. It's generally only one way once you leave Man United, and that's downhill. We can't say that too much these days. But I think Højlund wants to. That's absolutely to do with his spot in the Euros, highly touted in the Premier League, and most teams in the Premier League would love to have Kobbie Mainoo. I think he gets into pretty much every team apart from, you know, perhaps Liverpool and Arsenal at this point. But I don't think he should leave Old Trafford just yet, and I don't think we should even let him go on a loan. So I can't see that happening. Højlund, hit and miss. I can see that happening, certainly. And Anthony, I see him going to Betis still. but I don't know what he's playing at. I know Betis made an offer, but for some reason it's not going through. So I think Anthony is a player we need to get rid of, as well as, you know, Garnacho. Hoyland we can keep, and I'd love to see Onana get a move on the last day of the transfer window, guys. That would make my window. We cannot afford to have Onana still at Old Trafford. That guy's been nothing but an absolute disgrace in United colours. I can't recall. That's where Ferguson was just Ferguson, you know. He didn't persist with players like Onana. Massimo Taibi came in, and he came in for a decent price at that time. One performance against Southampton, and he never represented us again. Amrim, what are you doing? You cannot be having Onana still in this club. I'd rather see Tom Heaton at this point rather than Onana. So, anyway, let's see. I think for Man United, in that last day, there'll be more outgoings. Let's hope we get to see that. And wish you guys all the best. I think we now, after the transfer window, will be having an international break. So I'll be seeing you guys back on for Man United news in a couple of weeks. Until then, take care. Ciao.